Hello everyone, I am Dr. Doipayan Chatterjee, consultant orthopedic surgeon. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today we are going to discuss about the commonest musculoskeletal symptom with which patients visit an orthopedic OPD, back pain. Many of you who are watching this video have suffered from back pain at some point or the other. It is the second commonest pain symptom worldwide, ranking just after headache. In an international survey, it has been found out that 8 to 10% of adults suffer from chronic low back pain at any point of time, and 4 out of 5 people do visit a doctor due to severe back pain at some point of their life. Back pain is a global problem and is the commonest cause for missed work worldwide. A recent survey in USA has revealed that working hours lost due to back pain is about 186 million days every year, which results in a direct loss to the economy of a whopping 20 billion or 2000 crores due to loss of productivity and insurance costs. In UK, the working hours lost due to back pain is 12 million days every year. And the situation in India is even grimmer. So now that we know that low back pain is a global problem with huge socio-economic repercussions, it becomes very important for us to know how to prevent it. But before going into the details of prevention of back pain, let us first understand the normal anatomy of the spine and the causes of back pain. Our spine is made up of 33 small bones or vertebrae, which are arranged one below the other. There are 7 cervical, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar, 5 sacral and 4 coccygeal vertebrae. The sacral and the coccygeal vertebrae are fused to form the sacrum and the coccyx. If we take a closer look at the vertebral column, we'll see that in between 2 vertebrae lies the intervertebral disc, which acts as a cushion and prevents friction between the 2 vertebrae. 2 adjoining vertebrae are connected at the back by the facet joint, which provides stability to the spine. Inside this vertebral column lies a bony canal, which is surrounded by the vertebra on all sides. Through this bony canal passes the spinal cord with all its nerves. In between 2 adjacent vertebrae lies a small opening. Through this opening emerges the spinal nerves, which supply adjoining muscles and other structures. Now if we take a look at the cross section of the vertebral column, we'll find that this is a spinal canal which is occupied by the spinal cord. The spinal nerves emerge through the spinal foramen, and in front of the spinal cord and the spinal nerves lie the vertebral body and the disc. The disc, as we can see, consists of 2 parts: a central jelly-like nucleus pulposus and an outer tough structure, annulus fibrosus. Now let's take a look at the common causes of back pain. The commonest cause of back pain, which accounts for about 75% of total cases, is muscle or ligament sprain. Next in line lies age-related degeneration or spondylitis, which accounts for 10% of the total cases. Fractures account for 3%, disc prolapse accounts for 5%, spinal canal stenosis accounts for 3%, infection, tumors are rare causes of back pain. Pain from other organs may also present as back pain. For example, pain from gastritis or pancreatitis may be felt at upper back. Similarly, pain from kidney stones or urinary tract infection may present as low back pain. These visceral causes of back pain accounts for 1% of total cases. Back sprain is the commonest cause of back pain, accounting for about 75% of the total number of cases. poor posture, being overweight, leading a sedentary life, smoking, anxiety and stress all increase the chances of back sprain. It is not a single event but a conglomerate of improper lifestyle that ultimately leads to weak muscles and ligaments, and then a sudden jerk while bending forward or lifting heavy weight is all that is required to cause the pain. Spondylitis is an age-related degeneration of the spine and is the second commonest cause of low back pain. Here what happens is, with time gradually the discs lose their water content and their flexibility. There is thinning of the discs, as a result of which there is more amount of friction in between the vertebrae and gradually degeneration sets in. With time, new bone formation is seen known as osteophytes, which tend to impinge on the nerves and cause back pain. Let us now discuss about disc prolapse, which is the third commonest cause of back pain. We have already discussed about the normal anatomy of discs. Now when a person stoops forward or lifts up a heavy weight, it puts unnecessary excessive pressure on the discs. Now repeated pressures can ultimately lead to tear of the outer annulus fibrosus, and the jelly-like material then protrudes through the tear and compresses on the nerves, ultimately leading to back pain. Like the three spikes of the trishul, back pain prevention also has three aspects. First, we should maintain our posture. Second, we should avoid doing certain activities. And third, we should do exercises regularly to strengthen our back muscles. Now let's discuss each of these aspects in further details. A large majority of the population spends most of their day in sitting posture, whether it be at work, class, relaxation at home or transportation. Prolonged periods of sitting in a poor posture, like slouching forward, can place undue stress on different muscles and ligaments of our back and cause back pain. Similarly, reclining on a chair with excessive reclination angle can also hurt our back. Thus, we need to know what is the correct posture of sitting. The correct posture is one where the back is straight, there is no slouching nor excessive reclining, and the back should be supported by the chair. The computer monitor should be at eye level and one arm length away. The arms should be resting by your side. The elbow should be close to your body. The elbow and the forearm should be supported by a elbow support. The forearm and the wrist should be at same level as that of the keyboard and the mouse. The chair used should have a reclination angle of 100 to 110 degrees. It should support the thighs and there should be a gap between the knee and the chair. The foot should be firmly planted on the floor. After every 25 minutes of work, there should be a 1 minute break where one should look away from the computer screen, take a walk and then come back and resume his or her work. Now let's take a look at the posture while sleeping. If you sleep on your back, it is ideal to put a pillow on the back of your knees. This will decrease stress on your spine and maintain the normal curve of your lower back. The pillow used for the head should be soft and 4 fingers thick. It should be placed both under the head and the neck, and it should keep the neck straight. While sleeping on the side, it's advised to put a firm pillow in between two knees. It helps in decreasing the pressure on the hips and the back. Sleeping on the stomach puts in a lot of stress on the back. So unless you are suffering from an acute prolapsed disc or you have a medical condition where your doctor has advised you to sleep in a prone position, avoid this posture. While standing, it's best advised not to sway back nor slouch forward. The best position for standing is when we stand up straight and tall, keep our shoulders back, let our arms hang down naturally by the sides of our body, pull our stomach in, keep our heads level with chin in neutral position. Our feet should be at about our shoulder width apart, and we should put our body weight on the ball of our feet or on the front part rather than on the heels. Now let's have a look at what are the things that we should avoid in order to prevent low back pain. First and foremost, we should avoid forward bending. Forward bending puts excessive pressure on the disc, which moves backward and compresses on the spinal cord and the nerves, as a result of which patients experience low back pain. The pain might radiate from the back towards the legs, and tingling and numbness can also be experienced by a lot of other patients. Therefore, it is advised that whenever we need to pick up something from the ground, it is better not to bend forward. Rather, we should bend our knees, support our back, and pick the object from the side of our body. Next important thing that we should avoid is lifting heavy weight more than 5 kgs. Weightlifting increases the pressure in our vertebral discs and lead to disc prolapse. The pressure in our discs when we are lying down is 0.1 megapascal. While sitting, it is 0.4 megapascal. While standing straight, it is 0.5 megapascal. When we are bending forward in a standing posture, it's 1.1 megapascal. While lifting any heavy weight, bending forward in the standing position, it's 2.3 megapascal. Thus, we can see that from a lying down posture to a weightlifting posture, the intradiscal pressure is raised 23 times. The intradiscal pressure when we lift any weight without bending forwards but by bending our knees is 1.1 megapascal. Thus, it is advised that when we have to pick up any weight, we should not bend forward. Rather, we should bend our knees, put the weight close to our body, and then lift the weight. Exercises like straight leg raise puts excessive stress on the back. Hence, these are to be avoided. Similarly, we should also avoid toe touching because it arches the back forward and increases the chances of slipped disc. Abdominal crunches are also not good for the back and are to be avoided. We should avoid sitting on the ground, as while getting up, our back gets stressed. Rather, we should sit on a chair. Although the squat toilet has advantages of its own, but from back pain point of view, we should avoid it and use a commode. Now let's discuss the exercises of the upper back. For the purpose of videography, the exercises have been performed sitting on the ground, but it is advised to do your exercises on your bed rather than on the ground, because sitting on the ground, as we have discussed, increases back pain. There are 4 exercises of the upper back: the VW stretch, the scapular squeeze, the VT reverse V position, and the cobra pose. Coming to the VW stretch, first we have to raise our arms up in the air and make a V. Hold it for 5 seconds, then make a W and again hold it for 5 seconds. While making a W, we have to push our elbows backward so that we can put stress on the upper back. "15 repetitions 3 times daily is recommended. Now coming to the second exercise, the scapular squeeze. This exercise is more like a rowing action. From arms in front of our body, we have to push backwards, putting stress on our upper back. Hold for 5 seconds and repeat the exercise. Fifteen repetitions are advised 3 times daily for a healthy upper back. Looking at the same exercise from the sides, we can see that the elbows are drawn slightly behind our body so that we can put pressure on the upper back region. Coming to the VT reverse V stretch, we have to lie on our stomach, raise our arms about 6 inches from the bed and make a V. Hold this position for 5 seconds. As we can see here, the arms are about 6 inches from the level of the bed. The next step is make a T. As we can see here, a T has been made and we have to hold this position for 5 more seconds. Next, we make a reverse V and again hold it for 5 seconds. As we can see here, the arms are about 6 inches from the level of the bed during the entire time of the exercise. 15 repetitions 3 times daily is recommended. Next is the cobra pose. For this exercise, we have to lie on our stomach with head turned to one side and the entire hand and the forearm resting beside the body. Now, we have to lift our upper back, hold for 5 seconds and return back to the lying posture. Similarly, 15 repetitions 3 times daily is recommended. During this exercise, you should not bend the neck downwards, nor should you bend the neck upwards. The neck should be in a neutral position with the eyes looking forward, so that you do not injure your neck while doing this exercise. Now coming to the second part of the cobra pose, this should only be attempted when you are comfortable with the first part. Here, you lift your entire upper back with the forearms straight and hold this position for 5 seconds. Earlier, the forearm was resting on the bed, now it is completely straight. The eyes should be looking forward and the neck should be in a neutral position. As with the previous one, 15 repetitions 3 times daily is recommended. Always remember, while doing the exercises, you need not overstress yourself. A little bit of pain while doing the exercises is okay, but if the pain is severe or if you are experiencing any tingling, numbness in your arms or the upper back, it is better to stop the exercise and consult your nearest doctor. Now let's discuss the exercises of the lower back. There are 3 exercises of the lower back: the core strengthening and the stretching, which includes the cat and camel stretch, plank and the quadruped. Strong core prevents back pain. Hence, the core strengthening exercises are to be done by everyone. Next comes the extension exercises, which includes the half locust pose and the bridging. Extension exercises are to be done by all those people who are suffering from disc problem, from degenerative disease, spondylitis, and all those young people who are suffering from back pain due to prolonged periods of sitting in front of their laptop. Next are the flexion exercises, which includes the knee chest stretch and the straight leg raise. The flexion exercises are to be done by people who are suffering from lumbar canal stenosis. These patients usually suffer from neurogenic claudication, meaning they have pain, radiation, tingling and numbness of the lower extremities. The tingling, numbness and pain increases on standing and walking, while it decreases on sitting and forward bending. Hence, forward bending is good for them and they should do the flexion exercises instead of the extension ones. The general thumb rule is everyone should do the core strengthening and the stretching exercise. If your pain increases on forward bending, you should do the opposite, that is the extension exercise. And if your pain improves on forward bending, you should do the flexion exercise. Let me remind you once again, a little bit of pain while doing the exercises and the stretching is okay, but if the pain increases severely or if you experience tingling and numbness which was earlier not present, then it is better to stop the exercises and consult your nearest doctor. Now let us have a look at the camel cat stretch. For this, we have to assume a quadruped position. The hip and the knee should be in the same line. The shoulder and the wrist should be in the same line. Now we have to arch our back upwards or do a flexion stretch of the spine. Hold for 5 seconds, then do the reverse. Arch the back downwards or do an extension stretch. Then again hold it for 5 seconds. 15 repetitions 3 times daily is recommended. This is an alternate flexion and extension stretch of the spine. Another very useful exercise for the core strengthening is the forearm plank. This exercise is to be performed on a hard surface. The forearm and the hands should rest on the surface. With the help of the forearm and the feet, the body is to be lifted and kept parallel to the ground and held in this position for 30 seconds. During this exercise, the neck should be straight, the body should be parallel to the ground, there should be no sagging of the body, the shoulder and the elbow should be in a straight line, and you can do 2 repetitions daily. The quadruped exercise is done with the same position. Here we have to lift one arm, hold for 5 seconds and repeat it with the next arm. Again hold for 5 seconds. Remember, while doing this exercise, your back should be as straight as possible. The neck should be in a neutral position with eyes looking forward. After the arms, we have to lift one leg, hold for 5 seconds, then repeat it with the other leg. "15 repetitions 3 times daily is recommended. When you are comfortable with the first stage of the quadruped exercise, you can proceed to the next stage. Here you need to lift one arm and the opposite leg simultaneously. Hold for 5 seconds and then repeat with the other arm and the other leg. 15 repetitions 3 times daily is recommended. Now let's discuss about the extension exercises. The half locust pose is also known as the ardhasalbhasan. Here we have to lie down on our stomach with the head turned to one side and the arms by the side of our body. We have to lift one leg as much as we are comfortable with the knees straight. Hold it for 5 seconds, put it down, lift another leg, hold it for 5 seconds, put it down and keep repeating. 15 repetitions 3 times daily is recommended. The bridge exercise is to be performed lying on the back. We have to keep our hands by the side of our body. Flex the knees so that our foot rests on the bed. Now, with the help of pressure on the foot and the arms, we have to lift our back upwards. Hold it for 5 seconds, then put it down. Repeat this exercise 15 times thrice daily. Now let us discuss the flexion exercises. The knee chest stretch is performed lying on the back. First, we have to pull one knee to the chest, hold for 5 seconds, release. Pull the other knee to the chest, hold for 5 more seconds and release. Then we have to repeat it with both knees together, hold for 5 seconds and release. Do 15 repetitions 3 times daily. For the next exercise, straight leg raise, you have to lie on your back with hands by the side of the body. Lift one leg to about 45 degrees from the level of the bed. Hold for 5 seconds. Gradually put it down. Lift the other leg to about the same angle. Hold for 5 seconds and gradually put it down. 15 repetitions 3 times daily is to be done. So that's it from my side. I hope you enjoyed the video. Kindly leave your opinion in the comment section. And guys, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I hope these exercises will help you get over your back pain. I would also like to give my acknowledgements to this beautiful couple, Joy and Shalini Banerjee, for their dedication towards fitness and for lending their support towards my channel. So thank you once again. Stay safe, stay healthy and stay protected.